When you think about guys like Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, part of the reason they're able to be so effective in games is because they can explode past their defender. I'm gonna give you some really quick keys that you can add to your game, literally see a difference today, and then at the end, I'm gonna have something to help you take all this next level. Let's jump in. First thing I wanna show you is something I'm gonna show you how to take next level. If you might have heard it before, it's called the negative step. If you haven't, I'm gonna show you, but if you have, I'm gonna show you a way to make it even better. So the negative step is, if I'm gonna drive this way, what you'll see a lot of players do is they'll take a step back and then forward, and you might think that's gonna like slow you down, and yes, you are taking that step back, so you're not going as quickly as possible. I got a hack to help you with that in a second here, but what it's doing for you is it's allowing you to load up onto this leg so you can spring forward and that front leg as well, so you can kind of get into this bent stance and then go. And if I wanted to go this way, whether I catch the basketball, whether I'm dribbling the basketball, taking this step back here, boom, explode this way. Now here's how we can make that more effective. If I go like this to go this way, and I'm really making it obvious to my defender that I'm gonna go this way, then yeah, this step back might cue them off, and now they can jump in front of me, which is a big reason, if I can, I try to eliminate obvious negative steps. Here's some different ways to do that. The first would be, instead of just stepping back and looking here, what if I get my eyes to the rim, right? So they think I'm starting to do a step back, or maybe I put my eyes over here so they think I'm trying to create a little separation to go into the crossover. So what you do with your eyes can make a really big difference, because then they think there's maybe a threat of me going this way or going for the shot, and they'll either shift this way or come towards me, or at least stay put. So now that first step, I can still get that explosiveness with it, and I'm gonna be able to do that without giving it away. You'll see guys like Kyrie do this sometimes. He'll even just kind of turn this way, like he's thinking about coming to this side. He'll even go like this and then go into a crossover, different things like that. Here's a couple other ways to kind of mask that negative step so people don't see it coming, and then I'll give you a couple other things to help you make that first step even faster. A scissors, right? You can do a scissors setup as a change of pace. You can be moving, stop, scissors, so you can really load up. So instead of just taking one step back, you would drop both feet down at the same time. Now you could do this off the catch, right? So from here, I could come this way, or I could still go this way by pushing off this leg, and I'm not giving it away as much. Or you can even do it off the dribble as sort of a change of pace thing, and you don't have to really step in towards that defender's space. If maybe they're like right here and I don't want to get any closer to them, I can scissors my feet instead of coming here, then stepping back, then going forward. Or if I'm already set, this is a good option to get right into either a crossover, a drive, whatever it is that I want to do. And then one other way to hide that negative step is not actually making a negative step, making more of an out jab. So it could be like a double crossover, could be an in and out dribble. I can use that though, instead of stepping back, stepping more to the side to load up, and then push off from there. And I could do this with the ball side foot too, right? I'm loading up onto that step to come back this way. Or we could even take two negative steps by going back to make them think we're gonna go into a jump shot, but just keep in mind with my stance here, maybe I don't wanna bring this leg back in as much because now I'm in the same position as here, right? All I'm doing though is creating a little momentum back to bend my knees so I can push forward, and I can focus on not bringing this leg back in quite as tight like I'm gonna shoot. If I know they're a jumpy defender, maybe I'll just tap that foot down, or I'll bring it here instead of bringing it all the way square. All things you should play around with so you can give your defender a different look to make that first step more explosive. So here's the next thing to make your first step even faster. I got a bunch more of these for you. If you watched all those examples, I took either a step back, I scissors, whatever it is that I did, almost every time after, what did I do? Quick step forward, one step forward, right? I was efficient. So a lot of times I'll see players that are trying to be fast with their first step, but their footwork doesn't get clean. So they take a lot of like extra choppy steps, or sometimes a shuffle, things like that. Now, sometimes that shuffle is great to read your defender, but if you know you have the opportunity to get past him, boom, right forward with that foot. I want to be quick and efficient with that and start trying to get past my defender. Now, one thing to understand here is acceleration versus first step. I look at these as two different things because in basketball, there's different game situations. Example, if I see an opportunity to get to the rim and I know I can get past my defender no matter what, then I'm gonna take a little bit shorter steps to try to keep my feet under my hips so I can propel forward directly from it. But if I know I need one explosive first step for that first step to just get past my defender and seal them off, I'm gonna take a much longer step. And in that scenario, my foot would come past my hips. The reason I would do this is so as I'm coming past you, if you're my defender, I can really start to get this foot past you, and Now I can also shield the basketball and protect it using this leg, this arm, and this shoulder like this. But no matter what, the point stands that usually whichever foot's taking that negative step, I want to take a pretty big step forward to at least get it under my hips as my hips also move forward. So what you'll often see is a turn of the hips, bringing the foot right under, so now I can explode out of that. And depending on how the spacing works out, maybe I take this negative step and the defender comes really close. They're like right here. I'm not gonna be able to swing that leg through, right, without hitting them. So in that scenario, then I might take a little step forward with this one and then use this next big step like I normally would to get around the defender. But even then, I wanna make sure I'm being efficient with those steps and taking as few as possible. We don't want to be doing this in one spot in a game situation. When we see that opportunity to pass the defender, it's got to happen fast. Next thing to take this next level, and this isn't just for your first step, this is for change of direction too, shin angles. If I'm going to drive past the defender, I want to have my shin angles forward if I know I can go here. If I have my shin upright, I'm in a neutral position. If I'm here, I'm probably in a better position to push back off this front leg. But if you'll notice, this back leg, shin angles forward, so I have my options from there to go forward or back. But paying attention to that, as I'm going, I want to start to get both of these shins angled forward to explode. And basically all these shin angles are doing is putting my foot in a position that when I push, it's pushing me this way, versus if it's here, I'm more or less pushing up and down and I'm not really covering ground laterally or forward and back. And same thing applies to crossover. So maybe I'm taking a step out here and I know I want to shift that defender this way. If I know I can just get them from the get-go with just this movement here to move, then I want to keep this shin angle this way. This one you'll notice is the opposite direction, but as I'm changing directions, I'm gonna pivot that foot out or at least rotate my hips to get that shin angle out. Usually what you'll see most players do though is this. So then you can start exploding this way. An exception to this though is if you really need to sell that fake, then I might lean more onto this leg and you'll notice my shin comes a little more upright. That's gonna allow me to keep my base wide though so my chest doesn't come outside my knee, because if I come outside my knee, I'm off balance. Get that knee out, I'm gonna be on a little bit better balance. And now I can shift my shoulders to really sell that fake for the defenders I need to. And then I'll extend the ball, crossover down, and then you'll notice that shift with both legs. If I'm paying attention to that, I can get that knee rotated internally and low so I can really explode this way. Okay, here's one more hack for your first step, and it also applies when you're more on the move, and then I'll give you some more that'll apply a little bit more when you're on the move. So this hack is arm swing. So a lot of times in game situations, you're gonna try to use this off arm to protect from the defender. But if you know you have the advantage to maybe push out past them, you can use this arm swing to sort of deflect their arm and maybe push it back a little if they're being a super physical defender. But you can also use it for momentum, just like when you're running. You're gonna naturally have your opposite knee and elbow going forward. So on your first step, same thing would apply. That can help you get momentum because there's a link in your body between this elbow and this knee. So if you move that arm back quicker, that knee will drive forward quicker. And this also applies when you're on the move, right? Running with the dribble. You can start to swing that arm a little more to get you some more momentum. Again though, that's in situations where we don't really need to focus as much on protecting the basketball and it's just about speed and getting somewhere quick. Or if we're gonna use that arm on our first step, again, we can use it to protect and then swing back. Next big key comes down to breaking a myth that a lot of players have about traveling. You can take as many steps as you want when you're dribbling the basketball. There's no limit to how many steps you can take in a dribble. What I just did there is 100% legal. No ref is ever gonna call that unless you pick up the basketball from it. That's kind of a gray area. That's a whole nother video. I'll link you to a video down below that explains that a little bit more. But at the end of the day, all you need to know is when you're running and you're floating that dribble, you can take as many steps as you want in one bounce. And one thing I highly recommend you do is that, because you don't have to worry about synchronizing the dribble timing and your foot timing and controlling the basketball. You can put more of the focus on your feet moving quick and just floating that dribble, taking minimal bounces, and you can start using that off arm a little more to swing, versus if I'm trying to do this all the time, I can't really get that arm swing involved as much. If you want some hacks to instantly be quicker on the court, click the top link in the description. That's a video series that I have for you that's 100% free. Literally will help you become faster today, just like a lot of these tips will, but it takes them to the next level. Hit that like button on the video, helps you out, and I'll see you in that video series linked to the top comment, and it's also in the description.